Hello everybody and welcome to Omnipoke, the channel that brings you everything Pokemon. I'm Jack and today I have a Yveltal EX and Garbodor deck analysis for you guys. I promised this a couple of videos back. I also promised it a little bit earlier on in the week, but unfortunately I didn't quite have the list I wanted, so I've been grinding away and trying to sort out the last 2 or 3 cards just to make sure the list was as good as it could be. And I'm really happy with the list that I've got at the moment, so I decided to share it with you guys since I promised you guys a list before the end of the week. So here we are. I'm gonna try and keep things relatively brief. So we'll get straight into it. To start with, we have 3 of the baby Yveltal, the 1 prize Yveltal, with this Oblivion Wing attack here, attaching a Dark from your discard pile to one of your benched and doing 30 damage. A really good setup attack. To build up Yveltal EX, who is the deck's sort of big hitter. Evil Ball is an insanely good attack, 20 damage times for each energy on your active Pokemon and their active Pokemon. Can get huge damage, can even one-shot things sometimes, which is absolutely insane. Works with double colourless, things like that. So this is such a big attack. And then obviously we also have Y Cyclone, which is really good for energy preservation if you're just about to go down. You can start to move your energy off onto one of your bench Pokemon, maybe even another Yveltal EX to begin setting that up for next turn, which is really good. We then have a 2-2 Garbodor line, obviously the 2 Trubbish there, and then the 2 Garbodor. Garbodor is run pretty much solely for this Garbotoxin ability, shutting down all other abilities in the game. There's quite a lot of abilities out in the field at the moment. Landorus Crobat is such a popular deck at the moment, and whilst Landorus and Lucario aren't really affected by Garbotoxin, the Crobat line is really hurt by Garbotoxin. It means that they can't be sort of controlling where they put their damage as much, and they've only got the 30 snipe from Landorus EX, the Hammerhead attack. They've only got that. They don't have the ability to sort of manipulate the damage a little bit more with the Sneaky Bite and Surprise Bite on the Golbat and Crobat respectively. So it can really help with things like that. There's also, it prevents things like Red Signal, Verdant Wind, all of these really popular abilities in the game at the moment that can really crush an opponent's deck if they don't actually have access to these abilities. So Garbodor is a really good card at the moment, and especially in the UK metagame. So we have a 2-2 Garbodor in here. I would go up to a 3-3, but I feel the deck gets a lot more clunky with a 3-3 and even a 3-2. A lot of people, despite having ability-focused decks, are not targeting the Garbodor as much once it's set up. They want to take out the Yveltals to stop you doing damage. So therefore, I feel the 2-2's okay at the moment. Finally, we have 1 Seismitoad EX, pretty much again solely for this first attack, Quaking Punch, locking your opponent out of trainers. If you can get an early Quaking Punch off, you can sit behind Quaking Punch while your opponent tries to deal with this Seismitoad, and you can begin setting up big Yveltal EXs to start swinging for one-hit knockouts and taking 6 prizes as quickly as possible. A lot of the time you won't be taking prizes with this guy. He's more of just sort of cannon fodder to slow the opponent down with Quaking Punch, but obviously you can soften some things up and even take prizes on some weaker Pokemon like Spritzy, some of these very sort of weak basic Pokemon. You can take prizes with Seismitoad, but the sole reason is to just sort of slow the opponent while we build up some big X-Ball attacks and hopefully take 6 prizes as quickly as possible. Onto the trainers, we have quite an odd trainer line. I've only got 1 bike in here, and I often debate throwing this up to 2, but there was a card that I wanted a little bit later on that I decided to take out a bike for. But you often run your hand down relatively quickly, so I feel bike is pretty good in the deck. A lot of the time you will be holding on to some cards, but in certain situations bike is really good to be able to just draw up to 4 back into the hand, which is amazing. Computer Search is the A spec of choice. You want it with Oblivion Wing, you don't mind discarding dark energies, and it's pretty much the same with Ultra Ball, so I'll just go over this one as well. Both of these cards require you to discard energy, 2 cards from your hand, so you don't mind discarding the dark energy because it's just going to fuel Oblivion Wing. And Computer Search can search out DCEs and Seismitoads and things like that to get the Seismitoad lock early on. It can search out parts for the Garbodor. It's really versatile, one of the best searches in the game at the moment. So that's why I've gone for computer search, but there are plenty of other really good A-specs out there at the moment, and more are seeing play. It used to only be dowsing in computer search, but more and more are seeing play now, which is really interesting. The card I added in was 1 escape rope. I did initially have 2 switch and no escape rope in here, because I didn't really feel you needed the escape rope, as a lot of the time you're going to be taking 1-hit knockouts with Yveltal EX anyway. But I threw an escape rope in here, and it seems to be working relatively nicely. It means you can get yourself out of starting with Garbodor or Trubbish and still be able to swing sort of that turn, and it also sometimes puts opponents into really tricky situations as to what they want to give up this turn to be able to well, stop you from knocking certain things out. So I feel escape rope is definitely a really good inclusion, especially with the 1 switch down here and the 3 float stone. You can often escape rope your opponent and then put up a free retreater with or a Pokemon with float stone into the active, and then be able to free retreat into what you want depending on what your opponent does, which is a really useful tactic at the moment. We've then got 4 Hypnotoxic Laser. This is just another huge damage increase to be able to deal bigger damage in 1 turn. With the Verbank City Gym that we also run 2 of, you can do an extra 30 damage each turn, and especially when under Seismitoad lock, it can really be crippling for opponents, because they can be locked out of trainers, and if they can't retreat, they can also sort of die to poison flips or even be put to sleep, which is really good. So yeah, Hypnotoxic Laser is just another big damage booster. 1 Professor's Letter I feel is needed in pretty much all decks at the moment. I try to find a space for 1 in every deck I build at the moment, and then cut it later on if I find I really don't need it. But it just is another out to be able to attack turn 1 if you're going second, or turn 2 if you haven't managed to find the energy turn 1. The energy count isn't amazingly high, it's only 11, which is sort of standard for Yveltal builds, but that I have seen builds with a couple more energy in. So the letter is just another out to be able to attack turn 1, and also you can use Skylar to search out the letter turn 1 as well, so it just adds a few more outs to be able to work in attacks as quickly as possible. And I feel letter is definitely justified. Oh, that's the lasers. Yeah, the 1 switch I went over earlier on, it just helps when you start with perhaps a Trubbish and you have to evolve it into a Garbodor early, or have to switch out of the Seismitoad if that's asleep or anything like that. The Seismitoad probably isn't going to be asleep. It's because it's trainer locking, but either way, the switch is really useful, especially when paired with the escape rope, because you can also, as well as use the float stone, you can also escape rope and then switch as well. So they pair really nicely together. 4 Ultra Ball is again pretty standard. There's no other real Pokemon search cards that I want in here, especially as the discard can also help fuel Oblivion Wing if you manage to discard some dark energy in the process. So yeah, 4 Ultra Ball is definitely needed. The one thing I'm a little bit shaky on is only 2 VS Seeker. I like 3 VS Seeker in most of my decks, but only 2 VS Seeker here. Simply because I can't find the space for a 3rd. But once you're set up, you often don't need to be running through your deck as quickly as some of the other decks in the format at the moment. So I think 2 VS Seeker works just fine, to be quite honest. There's 1 Chorus in the deck, pretty much because a lot of decks are beginning to use strategies that have to build quite a bit of a bench. There's a lot of speed floor just going around at the moment. Flareon often has quite a big bench. There's a lot of decks that have quite a big bench a lot of the time, and therefore I feel Chorus is probably the best late game supporter card we have. Obviously it sucks if you draw it turn 1, but if there are still outs if you do draw it turn 1, and sometimes drawing for 3 is just enough. It's not always ideal, and you want to save it for when you can draw perhaps 7 or 8. But Chorus is definitely useful, and yeah, like I said, a lot of decks decide to set up, are trying to set up a lot more at the moment, and therefore I think Chorus is definitely seeing the peak of its play at the moment. We've got 2 Lysander here. being able to choose what you take prizes on is just so good. And Donphan is still a presence. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about it a little bit, but Donphan still sees a lot of play. And if you're in a Donphan heavy meta game in your area, you're definitely going to need the 2 Lysander, because the hitting and switching technique is what Donphan does so well, and what keeps the deck sort of running. If you can hit and switch and protect your attacker each turn, it's similar to the concept of preserving energy with Yveltal EX behind here. If you can preserve and still be able to attack next turn while sacrificing something else, that's so useful. So 2 Lysander means that you're going to often have outs to be able to capture what perhaps they don't want you to be able to take knockouts out, whether it be Donphans or something else that they're playing. So the 2 Lysander is definitely worth it. It seems that the ends are not working here. There's just a blank screen, but with the new up patch for the, I suppose it's an update as well, for PTCGO, it does show you text of what the card is. So we have 3N here. It showed you for a little bit, but it seems to have gone blank again. I'm only running 3N in a lot of decks now. I feel the format's got a lot more aggressive, and this is definitely an aggressive deck. You can take prizes very quickly, which reduces N's value by quite a bit, because you hinder yourself more than you hinder the opponent later on in the game. And therefore I've dropped it to 3N in favour for, again, some of the other cards like the Seismitoad and the Headringers. I feel they're more useful than having a 4th N, even though it's one more out to be able to, one more out on turn 1 to get you a new hand of 6. I feel that the deck is a little bit too aggressive to fully utilise N like you used to be able to. 4 Juniper or Sycamore is pretty much standard in most decks at the moment. There's only a couple out there that don't run 4 Sycamore or Juniper, just because drawing 7 is so powerful, and again, discarding your hand, if you've got a couple of Darks in there, that's always useful to be able to start powering up Oblivion Wing as well. And then finally, to finish off the supporters, we have 3 Skylar. Skylar can help you set up for next turn, searching for a supporter. It can search technically anything in the deck if you can grab a computer search. It's your out to turn 1 energy, or it's another out to turn 1 energy. It's another out to be able to grab one of these tools for Garbodor, grab a laser, anything like that. Any of the little pieces that are going to finish off the puzzle for you to begin locking down and taking quick prizes with the deck. That's what Skylar is in here for. The aforementioned Verbank City Gym, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Nothing much more to say. It's just an extra sort of damage bonus that you can do with the deck, and it means that if they don't get rid of the, or if they don't somehow get rid of the status condition, they're going to be taking an extra 60 damage in between turns, which is really, really big. It's sometimes underrated, I think, but Laser is such a good card at the moment, and as a lot of the top players in the US are saying, it's such a good card, and it definitely deserves sort of all the places or all the decks it's in at the moment. It's very strong, and especially when paired with Verbank City Gym. The 3 Floatstone are, again, pretty much solely for Garbodor. Obviously, Garbotoxin requires a tool card, so Floatstone is obviously the best one, because even if you get captured up, so they can try and stall you, because Garbodor has a hefty 3 retreat. If you manage to attach a Floatstone, it means you're not even bothered about your Garbodor being captured up. It also helps getting out of turn 1, sort of starting with Yveltals or Yveltal EXs, if you want to be able to use Seismitoad turn 1, which is really, really useful. 3 Muscle Band is, again, just another damage bonus for Yveltal EX, and sometimes even Seismitoad. The 50 with laser, so that's 80 per turn, can be really devastating, because if they can't get rid of the poison or get out of the active, you can kill EXs just with Seismitoad, which is nuts if they decide to stay in and take the poison damage. So Muscle Band is a definite inclusion to pretty much a lot of the decks that aren't running Spirit Links at the moment, just because the Spirit Links take up that slot of a tool. But yeah, Muscle Band is just another damage multiplier. And finally, to Headringer. Headringer is really, really crucial against some of the EX at the moment, and it can often make EXs that are really efficient, it can turn them into really inefficient EXs. EXs that don't actually do as much damage for the amount of energy or effort you put into setting them up, especially when it costs 1 more energy to be able to do so. Headringer can be really crucial in mirror matches as well, and it really hurts decks that have to attack turn 1. Things like Virgin, with the Virizions having to attack turn 1 to properly enable them to set up as quickly as possible. If you can headringer a Virizion, it's really, really crucial. And also, headringering Genesects so they can't G-booster in the Virgin matchup as well is mad good. It's so useful. Finally, we have 4 double colourless, just because it works with the 2 main attackers, Seismitoad and Yveltal EX. Obviously, it's an extra 20 damage per energy for Yveltal EX, so that's an extra 40 damage just by attaching a double colourless. And then 7 darks just to round the deck off, just for Oblivion Wing and Evil Wall. So let's see if we can grab ourselves a battle here. I decided to cut the video quickly just to check everything was okay. Audio wise on my end. I've tried to record a battle with the deck a couple of times now, and PTC Joe seems to be very buggy in this latest patch, so I've had to scrap a couple of recordings. There was a recording where the game seems to have glitched a little bit, and I took 2 prizes on Yveltal EX and immediately lost the game, which was pretty interesting. I sat and contemplated the situation for a few minutes and could not work out why, or how I could have lost the game. So I'm presuming it was just some sort of glitch. But we're going to get into another game here with a Heracross player, so this could be interesting. I'm going to get straight into it. Muscle Band and Dark to the Seismitoad, and we're going to end the turn. The video that I initially mentioned the Yveltal EX deck analysis in was, I think it was about 5 or 6 days ago now. I'll see if I can link it in the description. There's a couple of things I want to link in the description for you guys. We're going to see a roller skates from our opponent here. It was a video about live streams and whether you guys would like to see live streams on the channel. It would be another way for us to sort of get content to you guys, interact with you guys. We'd love to sort of play against some of you guys out there and be able to sort of give you another way to see some of our content. So make sure you go and check out that video. I'm not going to go into huge detail now, but make sure you go and check out that video just to sort of give your opinion and as to whether you would like to see us do live streams in the future. This is a pretty interesting deck so far. We are indeed going to grab another supporter, which is kind of annoying. I think I'm going to be Lysandering up the Shaman here, to be quite honest. I'm going to grab the Professor's Letter and 2 darks or use the Professor's Letter and grab 2 darks with it. And then I'm going to Lysander up the Shaman, just to be able to take an early 2 prizes if possible. Another link that I want to put in the description is a video that Joe did for the channel 2 or 3 days ago, all based on a versus series that we're considering giving to you guys. A series where basically you'll see us play against some YouTube personalities, some sort of other Pokemon players or some of the other bigger Pokemon players that you guys may know. We do actually get the laser here, which is also really good because we're going to be taking out the Shaman this turn. To basically have sort of best of 3 style matches with with an opponent, potentially of your choice, potentially of our choice, with decks that either you guys want to see or that we want to test, just to give you another sort of video series on the channel to look forward to, and a video series that hopefully will give us some sort of way of being able to test in best of 3 style matches. It's relatively difficult to have best of 3s on PTCGO at the moment. It's a lot more based on doing games with one sort of single elimination style games. I'm pretty sure we're going to be going down here actually, if he manages to, well, if he decides to do the extra damage with Giga Power, which he does indeed. So goodbye Seismitoad. I'm going to throw up the Trubbish here. yeah, another video series that basically will help us have best of 3 style matches for you to see how decks work in more best of 3 sort of ways, and it will also provide, like I say, another way for you guys to be able to see us playing with the decks that we like to talk about. So make sure you go and check out the video. I'm going to try and link both of those videos in the description if I remember, which fingers crossed I will. So we would love your feedback on both of those videos. It would be really useful to us, and it's just another way of being able to help us increase the sort of amount of views on the channel and get better content for you guys, because we want to make as good of videos as possible. And if we have with this versus series, hopefully we'll be able to increase the amount of content we can give to you guys at the same time. So it looks like our Heracross player here has a 1-turn clock. He's going to Lysander up the Garbodor, which is really interesting. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's a Psychic Energy, and he's going to take out the Garbodor, taking out himself in the process. So good game, Flyers. 429, really interesting deck. And as you can see, Yveltal can do some huge damage if it needs to. It's actually asking us to throw up one, even though we have one. We do also get a prize box here, so fingers crossed for a pack. And we do get a pack, so just to finish the video off, let's open this pack. But thank you very much for watching. As you can see, I've hoarded a few packs as of late. But yeah, let's finish off with this pack opening. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, hopefully the deck analysis was, well, it wasn't quite as brief as I wanted it to be, looking at the video time at the moment. Hopefully it was informative, and make sure you check out those 2 videos that I decided to link in, if I remember to, link in the description, because they're going to be really useful. Your feedback's going to be really useful. And I said we would open the... Oh yeah, here we go. I thought we were going to have to leave without the pack opening, but we do indeed. The pack does decide to load in for us. So to finish off the video, we get a Sphere Electrike, Trapinch Dynamo Rhydon, Bunnelby, Shrine of Memories, Freshwater Set, a Primal Kyogre, and a Tangrowth. That is an amazing pull. Awesome. So pretty good video overall. I'm very, very happy with how this all went down. And the Primal Kyogre at the end is really, really cool. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Please make sure you check out those videos in the description. Obviously your feedback is greatly appreciated, and thank you for all the support, continued support. It's so nice. It's so brilliant. And make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video.